counted amongst the city's most lucrative trades. The art of candle making has been around for centuries. The trade was first brought to Dukesbrough by the current Master Chandler's grandfather, who began his humble start out in a small rural town as a pig herder. Raising, selling, and even butchering pigs for their meat, he would often use the leftover fat to make tallow candles, in which then he would take them to the bigger neighboring towns and cities to sell for a slight profit. Eventually, seeing the larger possible opportunities a city like Dukesbrough could offer, with the profits he managed to save up from his candle sales, he would buy a plot and set up shop in the city. The Master Chandler's business would begin to gain real popularity when eventually the use of tallows was mostly phased out for the more efficient alternative and preferred beeswax. These candles would burn longer, brighter, and without the unpleasant odor that candles made of tallows were known for. Securing enough beeswax to meet the growing demands would not be a problem, due to the already close business ties with the local monastery, in which a fair and profitable deal arrangement was met. As business grew and coin from the profits came pouring in, naturally the home of the Master Chandler would follow, with the expanding and addition of 2 floors to the house. The Master Chandler would spend most of his days hard at work within and around the workshop, making and securing hundreds of wax candles for filling large commissions for the Lord Lady Linda Lindis, the church and its monasteries, as well as the rich folk and wealthy nobles who lived throughout the city. His wife can be found tirelessly running and handling the management of the day-to-day operations of the shop, alongside his twin sons who assist him in the candle making process, in which he trains with the hope of someday passing down the family trade. Alright guys, and welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed that time-lapse and story. But real quick, just wanted to show you guys this section here that was added in post-time-lapse. So obviously it wasn't shown in the time-lapse, but I wanted to go ahead and fill in the space here and kind of complete this area. We won't be touring these buildings in this episode though, because of course our main focus will be the building here that was done in the time-lapse, that is the Chandler's or candle maker's residence. So let's go ahead and go inside. We'll open a door here, and as you can see, this is the shop portion of the house, and this is where you can find the wife of the Chandler, hard at work, dusting and tending to customers and selling candles and taking payments and scheduling commissions and stuff like that. Really cool looking room. I used a lot of the candlestick blocks and the chandeliers to kind of create the atmosphere I was going for. Really love how it came out. But moving on, and now if we step through those 2 doors that are usually closed, we come to the kitchen portion of the house. And now this is where maybe the servants would prepare food, because again, they're a little bit more wealthy, and so they'll probably have servants that cook and clean for them, so the wife doesn't necessarily have to burden the load of everything like that. But again, we have a lot of cabinetry to store kitchen utensils and food to cook with, seasonings and spices. And over here we have a table for some meal preparation, and even the family maybe could sit there when the meal is finished and ready to be eaten. And then over here we just have a little area where maybe some beer or ale or wine is kept. It is a really tight and cozy space, but I really love how it came out, and I think it really works. But moving on. Up the stairs here, we come to what is this cozy little first solar area. Now again, the Chandler family are pretty rich. They're not super wealthy, but they are pretty rich. So I wanted to reflect that in the style of their way their house is constructed. It's sort of built and it's sort of furnished the way a lord's castle, or more so their manor house, would look. And so we have this nice little sitting area right here up front by the fire, where they can maybe have a glass of wine. At the end of the day, we have some storage around the room, as you can see. And then over here, we have this little desk for some writing and just maybe some reading as well. And of course, we have some more furnishings here throughout this room to kind of complete the space. Really neat. But moving on into the second solar, which is probably the main solar, I guess. And as you can see, I tried again to decorate it to try to give you that vision of wealth and just kind of prestige. We have some cabinetry here where we keep some things and some scrolls and some books here. And then we have this nice double desk here in the middle of the room where they can maybe do some writing, some letter writing, some reading, or maybe go over some documents for their business or and such. And of course we have lots of other furnishings. We have an area here for some more wine. And then, of course, we have this little bench over here. Plenty of seating in this room for the family to just come and relax. Again, I really wanted it to feel like a lord's kind of home. And then out here we have this balcony where they can just come out and stand out and just look at the city, look at people maybe going about their daily lives when they're not too busy. And so that's that. And now we're going to go ahead and head up to the third floor, where we come to the main floor where the bedrooms are located within the house. This would be one of the additions that they would have had built onto the house when their business really started to take off and they could afford it. So here we come to the first bedroom. As we step in, as you can see, kind of small, but the space is utilized well. We have a couple of beds for, again, the Chandler's sons would sleep here. We have some nightstands, some armoire for their clothes. As you can see, we have a little desk there where they can read and write. Some books on the shelf there. Again, I didn't go overboard when it came to decorations because I did want this to feel rich, a little bit more upper class, but I didn't want it to seem too overly rich, so I didn't really want to go too overboard with the decorating. And I think I hit a happy center with that. So there you have it. We're gonna move on, but we also have this little sitting area here. We have plenty of nice cozy sitting areas in this home. So now opening the door here, we step into the main bedroom, the master bedroom, the room where our master Chandler would sleep. As you see, he has this cozy little sitting area right here by the fire for him and his wife to enjoy. A nice big bed. Again, they have a nightstand and nice armoire for their clothes, as well as this nice desk right here in the room. You gotta have a desk in your room if you can afford it in medieval times. And that's pretty much it for that. And now we're gonna go up to the third floor, aka the attic. And now this space up here serves two purposes. It doubles as a place to store extra materials and candles and things like that. We have a couple of chests here in the corner, as well as this table, but also we have a couple of beds located up here for some servants or helpers who help around the house and maybe around the workshop could sleep and stuff like that. Yep, I really love how it came out. The woodworking up here is really fantastic, I think. I really love it. Feels realistic. It's not too over the top with the decorating. I think it's just right. But that's it, and that's the main house. So now we're gonna trek right back down these stairs and head out to the workshop to wrap up the tour. And now we could exit out through here. That will take us directly to the workshop, but we're gonna choose the more scenic route. So we're gonna step out through the front door here. And then we're gonna go ahead and make our way right through this area here. And now approaching, I love this area over here. It feels so natural. We look so cool with the vegetation and the plants. We have some storage out here in this little yard area to store some of the things that they use to make the candles with. Maybe there's some beeswax stored in these crates and stuff, and they'll break it down when they need it and stuff like that. And over here we have some wood, some logs being kept dry, right there. And then of course stepping in to the workshop, and now I did my best to try to create something that looks realistic. I did a lot of research of how a chandler's workshop would look, so I did my best to replicate it to my best abilities. Of course I did take some creative liberties, as I will show you guys through the tour of the workshop here. So basically we have these vats of hot wax that will boil, and then we will lower these wheels that have the wick on them into the vat a few times until we get the desired size of the candle that we want, and then we will let it hang and drip dry until we have the finished candle. And then up over here is where I took some creative liberties. So now we have that furnace at the bottom that's heating up this wax at the top, and then when it's ready it will pour down into the vat, and that's just kind of how the wax is transported from the boiler to the vat where it's stored so they can dip into it. Yeah, I think it looks cool though, so I'm happy with how it turned out. As you can see, we have some more wax there, some hot wax, another furnace on this side that will, the hot wax will heat up and then again pour down and into those areas so they can dip the candle wick into it to create those candles. And hopefully some of that made sense to you guys. I really did my best to try to create something that was realistic to the best of my abilities within Minecraft. But that's pretty much it, you guys. We do have these buildings back here that I'm really considering turning these into additional candle maker workshops, because again, they supply all the candles within the city, so I think they need probably a bigger workshop than what they already have. But in the next episode, we will be working on this area here for sure, the pottery shop. And so we're going to be building that up, and hopefully we'll finish out the rest of this area and we'll be able to move on to another part of the city. And I hope you guys join me back for that episode, because it will be exciting. And so with that, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time we meet, I bid you a farewell.